Imagine the quiet of a small town shattered by the blaze of a burning home. This was the reality for the residents of Halliday, North Dakota. Nestled in the heartland of America, Halliday was a place where neighbors knew each other by name, and the pace of life was slow and steady. But the tranquility of this small town was abruptly disrupted on a cold night in January 2020, when a frantic call from Nikki Sue Entzel echoed through the emergency lines. She reported her house engulfed in flames. As fire trucks screamed down the frosty streets and the community gathered, draped in blankets and shock, the fire was not the only horror they would encounter that night. Amidst the charred remains of what was once a family home, authorities made a chilling discovery. Chad Entzel, Nikki's husband, was found lifeless in the bedroom. Beside him lay a shotgun, an image that initially painted a grim picture of suicide. The news rippled through Halliday, stirring a blend of sorrow and disbelief among the townsfolk. How could a seemingly content family man choose such a tragic end? Was it an accident or something more sinister? These questions began to surface as investigators sifted through the debris, but as the smoke cleared, the truth began to smolder beneath the ashes, hinting at a far darker story. What lurks behind a smile can often be more chilling than the coldest winter night. In the quaint town of Halliday, the marriage of Nikki Sue Entzel and her husband Chad was widely regarded as idyllic. Friends and neighbors often saw them as a loving couple, the kind that finishes each other's sentences. But beneath the surface of smiles and shared laughter, there lay a web of secrets that was about to unravel. Enter Earl Howard, a figure that at first seemed just a friend of the couple, but as events would show, his role was far more sinister. It wasn't long before Earl began to appear more frequently in the narrative, his presence at the Entzel home becoming a regular occurrence. As the flames from the fire died down and the initial shock of Chad's death subsided, law enforcement began to peel back the layers of what was initially presumed to be a tragic accident or a desperate suicide. The investigation swiftly turned into a complex web of deceit involving financial troubles that had been quietly plaguing the couple. Detectives discovered that Nikki and Chad were drowning in debt, struggling under the weight of numerous loans and credit card bills that were spiraling out of control. But it was the discovery of extramarital affairs that added a salacious twist to the tale. Text messages, secretive meetings. The evidence began to paint a starkly different picture of Nikki's life, suggesting motives more sinister than anyone had first imagined. The turning point in the investigation came with the forensic analysis of the scene. The position of the shotgun, the pattern of the blood spatter, and traces of accelerants used in the fire, all began to point decisively towards murder rather than suicide. This critical evidence shifted the entire trajectory of the case, turning the spotlight squarely on Nikki and her associate, Earl. As detectives dug deeper, the foundation of trust and love crumbled, revealing a plot twisted by greed and betrayal. Truth can be elusive, but guilt has a way of clawing its way to the surface. In the dimly lit interrogation room, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Law enforcement officers, seasoned in the art of interrogation, sat across from Earl Howard, a man whose demeanor had shifted dramatically from when he first entered. Initially, Earl held a facade of calmness, but as the hours ticked by, the walls he built around himself began to crumble under the weight of his own conscience and the pressing questions of the detectives. The turning point came after several intense sessions. Earl, worn down by the relentless probing and the realization that there was no escape from the truth, finally broke his silence. His confession was chilling and unequivocal. He detailed how Nikki Sue Entzel, with whom he had developed a secret relationship, had masterminded a sinister plan. According to Earl, the two of them conspired to murder her husband, Chad Entzel, for financial gain, plotting to make it look like a tragic accident or a suicide. The courtroom, a stage where truths and lies collide under the weight of justice. In the heart of Halliday, North Dakota, a tense atmosphere enveloped the courtroom as the trial of Nikki Sue Entzel commenced. Spectators filled every seat, their breaths held tight as they awaited the unfolding drama. The stakes were high and the air was thick with anticipation. As the trial progressed, key testimonies took center stage. None was more pivotal than that of Earl Howard, Nikki's alleged accomplice. With a voice tinged with regret, Earl detailed the plot they had allegedly concocted. He described how the plan to fake Chad's suicide had spiraled into actual murder, painting a vivid picture of the night that ended in flames and death. His testimony was a cornerstone of the prosecution's case, aiming to expose the depth of the deceit. On the other side, Nikki Entzel, maintaining a composed facade, vehemently denied all allegations against her. Her defense hinged on a narrative of innocence and ignorance, suggesting she was unaware of Earl's intentions and actions. Her lawyers painted her as a victim, manipulated and betrayed, rather than a perpetrator. Her steady, unwavering voice sought to sow doubt among the jurors, challenging them to see her as a bereaved widow rather than a cold-hearted conspirator. The evidence, however, told a different story. Forensic details about the fire's origin, the placement of the shotgun, and financial motives were meticulously laid out by the prosecution. Each piece seemed to tighten the noose around Nikki's narrative of innocence. After hours of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict that echoed through the courtroom: guilty. Nikki Entzel received a life sentence, her fate sealed by the weight of her actions. Earl Howard, having cooperated with the authorities, received a lesser sentence but was equally marked by the crime. As the gavel fell, so did the final curtain on a tragic script written in deceit and blood. In the quiet aftermath, the echoes of betrayal linger, haunting those left behind. The small town of Halliday, North Dakota, once a peaceful community, now grapples with a starkly different reality. The tragic events involving Nikki Sue Entzel have not only devastated a family, but have also left an indelible mark on the entire community. As we explore the ripple effects of this crime, it's clear that the impact stretches far beyond the immediate horror of the act itself. Friends and family of Chad Entzel have shared poignant accounts of their loss, painting a picture of a man much loved and deeply missed. Their emotional interviews reveal a collective mourning and a struggle to comprehend the deceit that led to such a tragic end. Reflecting on these conversations, one cannot help but ponder the broader implications of this case. Trust, once broken, casts long shadows, and the ease with which manipulation took root in the heart of Halliday serves as a chilling reminder of the human capacity for darkness. It forces us to question how well we truly know those closest to us and what signs we might be missing. This story, while uniquely tragic, underscores a universal truth about the complexities of human relationships and the potential for evil that can reside within. As we leave the shadows of Halliday, we carry with us a somber reminder of the depths to which the human heart can sink. Today's journey through darkness sheds light on not just a crime, but on the human condition. We began with the chilling discovery in Halliday, where flames engulfed a home and a community's sense of security. The investigation that followed peeled back layers of deceit, revealing a plot twisted by manipulation and betrayal. The evidence led us through a harrowing path from suspicion to conviction. As the courtroom drama unfolded, it brought to light the stark realities of human behavior under the guise of love and loyalty. Nikki Sue Entzel, alongside her accomplice, crafted a narrative so sinister it could only be believed when laid bare by the facts themselves. This tale, while unique in its details, echoes the universal themes of deception, justice, and the relentless pursuit of truth. It reminds us that beneath the surface of everyday life can lurk unimaginable darkness. Thank you for tuning into Crime Stories Now. Stay curious, stay cautious, and until next time, keep seeking the truth in the shadows.